To find truly exceptional food in Paris, most people assume that massive reviews, TikTok hype, and Michelin stars lead to better meals. But they're wrong. Where Parisians actually go to eat is in the small canal-side boulangeries, zinc-counter bistros, and neighborhood cafes. The kitchens keeping rare historical dishes alive, and brasseries where you have to know how to decipher the menu to get the real prize.
Congratulations!
Now, with over 15,000 places to eat in Paris, it can be hard to know where to start. So, as a food guide and filmmaker, I've dedicated these past years researching, interviewing chefs, and, well, drinking with locals to curate this list. So if you never want to waste another good appetite on a bad meal, follow me. Let's begin with everyday budget options, street food, neighborhood cafes, and menus that won't bleed you dry. The ones everyday Parisians can actually afford. Out of the many different types of French dining institutions, the one that is the most typically Parisian and also the most visually impressive is by far the Bouillon. If you're into minimal designer restaurants, this one is not for you. In a world of celebrity chefs and emulsions, people want to return to simplicity. And a Bouillon is a historical dining institution where you find simplicity not in the decor, but on your plate. And while the most famous bouillons have become extremely famous, this one, believe it or not, is still the new kid on the block and, at the time of writing, is still a bit of a local secret.
Un bouillon, c'est un ancien restaurant de la fin du 19e siècle, début du 20e, qui servait principalement pour les ouvriers, les employés, les classes modestes.
Des restos comme ça?
Oui, des restos comme ça. Et qui avaient
c'est beau?
Très très belle décoration, Art-Déco, mais à l'époque ça se faisait, c'était pas considéré comme luxueux, ce qui est devenu maintenant.
Bouillons were the first French fast food chains. They were opened by butchers from Les Halles who needed to find a way to sell off the scrap parts of meat that customers didn't want. The winning concept, a single dish at a fixed price.
Et on avait des plats à 2 euros le menu.
Ah ouais.
2 francs le menu.
And there used to be hundreds of bouillons all over the capital, and they were almost always full. But unfortunately,
Bonjour, que puis-je faire pour vous aujourd'hui?
All good things must come to an end. US American fast food chains come into France, and the people loved it.
C'est pas terrible. Et vous, mais quand même. Bah oui, c'est économique.
But in recent years, there's been a renewed interest.
Alors les classiques qui existent encore, c'est Julien, Chartier, c'est quoi l'autre? Racine. Mais celui-ci, le petit bouillon Pharamond, c'est une nouvelle ouverture.
Ouais.
13 euros, 12 euros.
En plus, pour un quartier qui est réputé assez cher, touristique, c'est bien.
Cool. Et on mange quoi en général dans un bouillon?
Il y a le poivreau vinaigrette, les œufs mimosa, les escargots, les os samois.
Ouais.
Don't come here expecting shared plates, matcha lattes, or pet nat wines. The dishes are simple, good, and consistent. This is the perfect example of how constraint breeds innovation. And this broth gave the birth to the name, le bouillon.
Et alors moi j'ai vu qu'il y avait en dessert un plat que j'adore, le baba au rhum.
Ah, toi t'as déjà regardé les desserts?
Ah oui, le baba au rhum.
The absolute best way to start your day in Paris is with a quality croissant or pain au chocolat. And while most tourists will stand in line for the 20-euro croissant at Cédric Grolet, they're kind of missing the point. That's not Paris, that's Disneyland. Instead, join the locals at the Canal Saint-Martin. Close to here, there's 2 top-quality pâtisserie boulangeries where you can find one of these. You could go to Du Pain et des Idées. It's a world-class boulangerie and really deserves the fame it gets.
Oh, fichte. Tellement beau.
But again, the lines are long. I've got a better idea. If you want a well-kept secret, walk 2 minutes further to Boulangerie SAIN. This is an artisanal bakery and a well-kept secret amongst Parisians who care for quality. They use organic heritage grains from before the 1950s. The flavor is deeper and the texture is super rustic.
Tu veux goûter?
Grave.
People come to Marché des Enfants Rouges because it's the temple of Parisian street food. But what if I told you that just outside of its gates, you can also find one of Paris's absolute best jambon beurre?
Mais quel jambon vous voulez?
Je vais prendre le bleu, blanc, cœur.
Ça marche. Qu'est-ce que vous voulez comme fromage? Légère, crémeuse, forte?
On va y aller avec le Saint-Nectaire.
Ça marche.
Vous en pensez quoi?
Oui, c'est très très bon.
Here, the choice is yours. The finest quality meats and cheeses stuffed into a fresh baguette. But to simplify your choice, I highly recommend ordering. This is what we call un jambon beurre.
So you have the golden, crispy baguette. Then, very important, is the butter. A nice, generous layer of butter. Of course, the cooked ham from Paris. This is a bleu blanc cœur. You could also get the prince, which is really nice. And for bonus, I like to include a little bit of cheese, the Saint-Nectaire cheese. Though purists will argue that you don't put cheese in a jambon beurre. I'm saying Venchen Denchen. So cheers. So apparently, out of the 2 billion sandwiches sold every year in France, over half of them are this, the jambon beurre. And there's a good reason why. I mean, if you taste this, the quality of all these ingredients combined together easily make it better than the sum of all its parts. It's working class food. It's been eaten by workers at Les Halles way back in the day. My favorite food to eat when on the train, and should definitely be on everyone's list if you're really serious about trying real Parisian working class food. And this one, yeah, this one is insane. If you like all these recommendations and want more at the touch of your fingertips, then load my Paris food map onto your phone. It's a curated Google map of all my favorite Parisian food establishments across the city. Bistros, brasseries, boulangeries, cafes, and even old-school Parisian dive joints. You can filter by categories like budget street food, fine dining, rooftop terraces, my top picks, and more. Every pin includes my personal description and insider tips on what to order. Or if you're on the go, just search by location and get live directions. So no matter where you are and what you're in the mood for, you'll always find something delicious near you. It'll save you hours of planning and make sure you never waste a good appetite on a bad meal. Save the map through the link in the description. I hate to break it to you, but most people have been doing Paris wrong. Forget the Louvre or the Eiffel Tower. Instead, pack a book or something to write and find a quiet old café to practice what I call le grand art de ne rien foutre. Try it, for example here at La Fontaine. Again, near the Canal Saint-Martin is my favorite place to do this. In fact, this is where I wrote the words that I'm speaking to you right now. But there's many great cafes in every arrondissement. Here, if you get hungry, order a neuf mouillette, but most importantly, take the time. They're not turning tables here, so forget the schedule and enjoy yourself. Trust me, this is going to be a much more memorable and edifying moment than seeing the Mona Lisa. I guarantee it. If you go, do me a favor and share one of the observations you've made with me in the comments. Now we're hitting the sweet spot. It's about elite level cooking without the fine dining tax. There's a type of restaurant that focuses on serving the highest quality food possible in a very modest setting. The French call it bistronomie. It essentially combines the low-key vibe of a bistrot with the more upscale, focused techniques and seasonal ingredients of a gastronomical restaurant. And while there's many that I could recommend, today I'm taking you to a very special one. They label themselves as a bistro punk. Let me show you. It's the sweet spot where high-end gastronomy drops the tuxedo and moves into a real local neighborhood. But watch out, because many bistronomie spots can be ego trips.
It's the Chez right there.
These are the places where the waiter will give you a life story for every radish on the plate. But this spot is an outlier. At Chez Michel, there are no speeches because the plates do the talking. Chef Masahiro Kawai pours absolute devotion into a weekly menu that balances raw creativity with French tradition. You can really taste the difference when a chef gives his whole soul to the plate. It's hard to believe that this kind of traditional rustic cooking can still be found in the center of Paris.
Oui, un truc qui est ma soupe, c'est après, c'est les charrets sur l'os. J'ai pris un mes sous-vide pour les conserver, puis après je coupe en morceaux.
This is the type of food that you'd usually find deep in the countryside or in your French grandmother's kitchen.
On va y aller par les grandes moyennes. Voilà.
Et voilà.
Ça c'est la couenne de cochon.
Pour pas vous brûler?
Non, pour pas qu'il sèche. Quand je le remets au four, voyez,
Ah ouais.
comme ça ça le protège.
Ok.
Et hop, on met la couenne comme ça dessus. Et comme ça le protège.
Génial.
Tiny plates and natural wines don't exist here. Some saucisson to start, or if you like, the whole basket. A beautiful homemade terrine served à l'anglaise that is straight on the table. But I came here to get an answer to an important question.
Comment est votre blanquette? La blanquette est bonne.
The blanquette de veau is a staple of French comfort food, and it's a recipe that appears since the 18th century, but most likely goes back to medieval times. It was a dish you could make with the remains of the rôti de veau, the juices, and the offcuts. In a white sauce, I mean, look how tender these veal chunks just fall apart in the savory homemade stew. So yes, la blanquette est bonne. And speaking of stews, this place would also be the perfect address to try another classic, the bœuf bourguignon, which, did you know, unlike the name suggests, is a Parisian invention rather than from Burgundy. Use that if you want to win some bets with French people. While this last category of restaurants comes with higher price tags, they all offer an unforgettable experience thanks to their unique setting and lavish Parisian menus. Out of the thousands of bistros in Paris, there's one that stands out from the rest.
It's an address I recommend if you're on a quest to uncover a legendary Parisian dish.
This place checks all the boxes of a classic old-school Parisian bistrot. A zinc counter, tight seating, and old Baumann chairs. But aesthetics aside, this century-old neighborhood secret hides a rare treasure on the menu that makes it truly special. Look past the escargot and you'll find rarer classic French dishes like a pigeon millefeuille, which was tempting. But no, not today. Because you see, the star of this bistrot is the black diamond. The truffle.
This is quite literally a sacred ingredient here. Because if you think the Italians take food seriously, well, welcome to France. Anyway, I came here to try
Possibly one of the most opulent and sadly rarest of French truffle dishes, the Tournedos Rossini, named after the famous Italian composer Gioacchino Rossini, who was an Epicurean, to say the least. This dish combines the richest and most extravagant French ingredients in a stack. Beef filet on a crouton, pan-seared foie gras in butter, topped with a truffle sauce Périgueux, and sprinkled with generous amounts of the black diamond. Oui, monsieur. Joséphine Dumonet is one of those last Mohicans, a place that defines Paris as Paris, and that's worth a lot. So far, we've looked at many types of French restaurants, but there's a crucial one that has yet to be covered: the brasserie. What distinguishes a brasserie from a bistrot? To answer that question, let me take you to a quality brasserie that has graced the Opéra district for over a century. There's no music, only the rhythm of cutlery and extremely efficient waiters scuttling about. A brasserie literally means brewery in French. That's what they used to be, and that's why they usually have a bar area. Grab a drink here for your table if, like me, you made the mistake of reserving a table for 4 when you were actually a party of 5. With a bit of negotiating with the waiter and a round of Lillet to make up for my mistake, we were able to get a seat. Vaudeville, like many brasseries in general, are busy and highly coveted establishments by visitors and Parisians alike. This was a Tuesday night in February, so reserve in advance.
Here, you won't find customers king service. You won't find chef experimentation. You come here for the reliable French classics in a lively organized chaos gilded in Art-Déco. Decisions are hard to make. Seafood platters, steak au poivre, and île flottante. All tempting choices.
Parce qu'il y a une crème brûlée, j'adore les crèmes brûlées. Mais oui, mais ouais. Parce que j'aurais bien aimé prendre les flottantes. En fait, ce qui m'intéresse dans ça, c'est les flottantes et l'entrée. Encore une fois, petite minute. Ouais, merci beaucoup.
But teamwork makes the dream work. A brasserie is great for groups, parties, friends, and families. The more people, the more dishes you can actually taste. This, for example, is œuf meurette, an unusual classic that is a staple of Burgundy cuisine. Special shout out to this expert oyster eating technique right here. It made me learn that I've been doing it wrong my whole life. The most tender beef fondant, but even better, a beautiful beef tartare served with crispy pommes frites.
Ça c'est le beurre.
Oh yeah, and this is a crêpe Suzette, freshly flambéed in Grand Marnier and orange. A solid choice, an easy choice, if it wasn't for l'île flottante, an incredibly delicious orb of soft meringue floating in crème anglaise custard. What a time to be alive. We've covered a lot of classic meat dishes in this video, but it's imperative that before concluding, we seek out one of the most legendary and iconic of Parisian fish dishes. Boulevard Montparnasse. Here, you'll find a famous brasserie whose decor was made by the infamous restaurant designer Slavic. This has been the hideout for many influential figures such as Jean Cocteau and Hemingway, of course Simone de Beauvoir and Sartre, and now me. The menu revolves around the beauties of the sea. And the specialty here is the most beloved fish dish in Paris, the sole meunière. Floured, fried in brown butter, and lightly drizzled with lemon. A simple recipe, yet delicate and complex in flavors. It's been enjoyed by Louis XIV and elaborated by the most famous French chefs like Carême or Escoffier. This is the place that fed the thinkers of the Age of Enlightenment. If you want to understand the city we love today, it's good to start by sitting in the chairs and ordering the plates of the people who built it.
Before we conclude, it's super important that I remind you to reserve in advance. And remember, if you want to make sure to have all these recommendations and many more at the tip of your fingers, then load my Paris food map onto your phone. It's honestly the ultimate tool that'll help you find all the best tables in the city. That being said, please let me and the community know what your favorite spots are here in Paris. That's what the comment section is for, and I'll see you on the next adventure.